for this video. Hopefully we can pump up the sound a little bit, but I've got to have that fan on me today. Heat index is in the hundreds. Okay, so last week I tried to give like a quick overview of what I was thinking, what I'm doing with going into business as a full-time artist. I've been a professional artist for 18 years, and I'm just trying to figure it out. So, and I mentioned in a video last week, and what we're going to talk about today is much more about the plan or the blueprint that I'm kind of formulating going forward with the studio practice, exhibitions, the work we're making, etc. But before we do that, before I go into talk about the plan, I want to talk about what I do at Kendall Projects, what that means. Kendall Projects, the word or the title itself, was formed because when I started to be a professional artist in 2000, there were several professional athletes that were named Jason Kendall. So I X'd the name and went with Kendall Projects because at that time I realized that I was doing a lot more than just making sculptures and drawings. Since then, we've branched out in everything from traditional drawings to abstract drawings, sculpture, traditional sculptures, installation art, performance, and film, and even into music. You could probably hear my own original compositions on the videos because that's what I do as well. And as you can see behind me, this is a fresh, brand new sculpture that got finished this morning. Kind of finished yesterday, but kind of capped things off this morning. And then my trusty Les Paul amplifiers behind me, where I usually try to distract myself so I can think about solving a problem. And just to kind of let you know, before I became a professional artist, I went to art school thinking to be an animator. So a lot of the work you see me do is based in, I guess you would say traditional drawing, but with a twist with comics or Disney-ish. And then I moved to sculpture, and then performance art, and then to film. I was a college football player before I became an artist, and now all that is feeding into what we're doing here. Okay, so back to the plan. I quit my teaching job to pursue this studio practice full-time. And what I realized at that moment is I've got to produce and produce and produce and produce. But why? So I started with the why. Why do I think I need to produce at a prolific level, if you will? And I started pondering the question, why? What I realized was I want to create an experience for people that is not just drawing, it's not just painting, it's not just sculpture. I want to use all these facets of being an interdisciplinary artist to create an experience both virtually on the internet as well as in a gallery setting. So what we're doing is we're going to try to set up a digital presence. We're working on a new website that is going to have a storefront and an online gallery where you can buy original works, prints, and then also objects, original objects, like the one behind me, or prints of the one behind me. Also, we will be offering limited edition stickers and t-shirts. I'm involved with the rock and roll scene in Columbia. Always been a huge rock and roll fan, and it informs my work on a lot of different levels. So I like to throw in the stickers in there because of my fandom with rock and roll music as well as graffiti culture from what I became fans of when I was in New York City. What else? What else can I think of? Okay, so other than the what, how are we going to do this? How? I'm going to try to make everything that I think that needs to be made. Okay, right now I am working on a series, or finishing up a series of sculptures that started last summer that deal with football head injury. So as you can see behind me here, the sculpture here is dealing with traumatic brain injury on some level. Because I was, involved with college football, and my family's involved with it somewhat still, I guess. I'm not a big fan. I could go into that, and I will at another time. But that's how it is I try to think about what we're doing, what I'm interested in, what I can make that makes a comment on what's going on in the world today. And traumatic brain injury across sports in general is something that I've been interested for years. I don't think I'm affected by it yet. There's a whole series of work, and there's actually a TED Talks coming out in the next couple months that I gave that deal with my thoughts on that, and I don't want to bore you so much with that. Also, what else I'm making is I'm moving in. I have an exhibition in May coming up that I'm trying to get ready for, and I'm working on a whole new set of work. Over here, you can't see them right now. We're not ready to show them, but there's a whole slew of new drawings that are informing. We'll be informing sculptures, film, and performance work. We're going to talk about those at another time. But moving forward with the plan, so we're going to try to get the website up and running within the next month. We are working on this podcast, vlogging that we're doing. We're going to be taking these things that I'm talking about and moving them into more audio format as well as video format. We will be bringing in special guests that will be doing interviews. We're going to have people interviewing me, asking me some ridiculous questions, some difficult questions, and then I'm going to bring in some of my favorite creative people around town, and hopefully eventually get people from out of town that I worked with when I was in New York City to come talk to you guys about how to make art full-time and professional. So that's one thing we're doing, as well as, and we're going to constantly be on our Facebook page, Kendall Projects, Facebook, just look at Kendall Projects, as well as our Instagram. We're really trying to readjust how we've been using social media in the last 4 or 5 years and streamline it to help us maybe get some revenue in here and also get some more exhibition opportunities. So with that said, I think that's about going to wrap it up for me today. I didn't want to take too much of your time, but I want to talk about the plan in general before we actually implement it. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do so please. Look us up on Facebook, Kendall Projects, all word, lowercase, on Instagram and Twitter. I'm not a big Twitter guy yet. That's not how I roll. Also, one last thing. On our new website, there's going to be a blog posted, and a lot more of the information will be digitized or in written format. There's a book in the works about my experience with college football and how that's affected me as an artist and what we're going to do going forward. Next week, I think we might have a couple of things that might happen is my wife may interview me. We've been talking about her doing that and trying to push me to a corner and see if I can get my way out. And then also we're going to be talking about the newer project. I'm going to share some images that we're working with. We're going to talk more about this process. Even in this video right here that you've seen, that you're going to be able to see behind the scenes of how we made this. And you're going to get more of that going forward. Each video hopefully will have a soundtrack, behind the scenes of how things are made, and then something new or something we're working on. Bear with me as I go forward here. I hope you're here. Come back and see us, but bear with us as we are figuring out how this all works as well. A lot of artists are going online and taking in all this content, all this information about how to be a professional artist full-time, both online and in their studio and exhibitions. I just figured while I'm taking the plunge, stepping into the unknown, why not document it and show other people how I'm doing it, and also a way for me to figure out what's working and not working. So please come back and see us again next week. We're going to try to do it every week. And once again, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks. So.